Congratulations on this. It is a fantastic watch. Very entertaining the whole way through.
Thank you.
Where did this idea come from, first of all?
That would be good. Now you have to talk to Ryan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd always wanted to make a film about, starting a band and that experience of, getting a bunch of creative people together, whether it's a band or a film or whatever. But specifically, I'm from a part of Northern Canada, Northwestern Ontario, and there's just a very sort of particular voice to that area. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to sort of make a film about starting a band in that area and then cast actors from the region to actually play this to try to capture that voice, which led to me meeting Derek and the cast that became the cast of the film.
Yeah, this cast is amazing. Do they actually play the instruments?
Well, no.
No,
What's
okay.
fascinating is that Matt Close, the gentleman with the afro, when we brought him into audition, had no musical training on any instrument whatsoever. And what he did in the 3-week period from the time he was cast actually stepped on stage, if you watch him, he learned to fake it pretty good. He spent an awful lot of time working it, getting chord structures. I mean, I play guitar, as does Ryan, and I don't think I learned the chord shapes and all that stuff that fast when I was coming together. So
he had never held the guitar before. So when he came in, he was kind of holding it. He didn't know what to do with it. We were like, okay, I don't know. But, I don't use the word prodigy lightly. But when I saw the performances that he sent in his audition tape, which was him talking to a white wall, I called Derek and I was like, this is absolutely insane. So yeah, in 3 weeks, he went from never having learned the guitar to learning how to air guitar, the actual chord shapes of all the music I had written for the band. And during those jam scenes, we actually had a stunt guitar player off camera who was jamming with the band, and Matt was able to mimic in air guitaring what this off-camera guitar player was doing. It's really amazing what he was able to do that in 3 weeks.
Definitely. For a director, having these people have such distinct personalities, is it difficult to direct the way each of their characters goes on their own separate journey throughout this entire film? Because each of them have their own path that they walk through.
My own personal history as a director is I've never had, I say I worked on the fringes of the film business in Canada, never mind, worldwide. And I've always worked with people who were not necessarily professionals. I did a whole film where I had 2 of my actors had to learn how to play violin, and neither one of them had never acted before. And the other was, a seasoned actor, but again, was not a musician. So I've got a lot of experience doing that. And I find as a director, I don't believe that directors at this level can get a performance out of people. What you need to do is you cast well, and you just let them do what they do, and you just lean in on their natural inclinations rather than try to get them to act. So my whole approach is just take my hand off and let them do something, steer them in a direction. If they're having problems with a certain scene, maybe you don't leave the camera on them. You go to the strong actor in the scene, and that's pretty much all done in the editing. But I'm a big believer, cast well, let them do what they do, and bring it to the party.
And it's funny because this goes back to the first conversation you and I ever had, because we had the screenplay and we were trying to figure out what made sense, and I was really adamant that I wanted to find this young cast up north, and Derek's name kept coming up as somebody you should meet. And I'd heard this the legend of this seasoned director who had moved his life to North Bay and was like helping to build the film industry. So when we finally got introduced, Derek got it right away, and he said, look, man, your timing couldn't be better. I'm working with this golden cohort of actors that are the best I've ever seen. And I think the quote was like, I'll show you a casting session as good or better as anything you'll see in Toronto or LA. And I was like, okay, like I like a little puffery. So, I got in the car with our executive producer and I drove to North Bay, and I think Derek had the session set up like a day or 2 later. And like one after another, they started coming in, and like not even just the people that we cast, but there was a few other just exceptional performers that maybe didn't fit the characters. And I remember leaving there saying to John, like, we've literally cast 90% of this film on the first day. Like, it all just sort of came together. And, Derek and I were talking about what made sense. And I'd heard about all the work, that he had done with them on their process and like teaching them how to act. And at that point, I was like, man, you got to direct this. I'm like, whatever you've done with these people to get them to this level, like, it all just sort of fell together in a very quick period. And, within a couple months, that was it. We were shooting.
Can I actually correct that narrative just a tiny bit?
Sure.
What Ryan says about the actors is true, but I'm also into developing other talent. And we did try to get younger directors to come to the party with this movie, right? You did approach other directors, but I have a lot of experience, and I knew a lot of these. I mean, I think I knew everybody in the cast, including the older actors that we did. So there was a simpatico there that made sense for me to direct it. And also, the truth is, it's a low budget picture, and I'm very good about working in my environment. I know the environment up in North Bay, so we are able to, I'm going to use the word cut corners in a really good way. We were able to find good locations at a very, very favorable price, and be able to turn the camera around and do two separate things on the same day, which is key when you're doing.
We leaned into the real world, the sort of the richness of the locations and the environment up there, and we're able to get, just a ton of production value onto the screen because of that. So yeah, it all, it's shot where it's set, and we're not fudging anything. So I think that's part of why the film looks the way it looks.
Definitely. While the band is the centerpiece of the film, Fast Eddie seems to be like the most fascinating character out of all of them. He brings a whole different dynamic. How important was it to get that actor to that level?
So this I'm going to give Derek a huge shout out on this one, because like every town has a Fast Eddie and this sort of musical mentor, and we were looking for the sort of the perfect person to do this, and they had to be a brilliant musician in their own right. So we were going through names, and Derek was like, you know what, if you could get Ted Dykstra, and Ted's a bit of a musical theater legend. He was the originator of Two Pianos, Four Hands. Like, he's a legitimate piano virtuoso. He played Jerry Lee Lewis in the Fire musical. And, Derek was like, let's see about this. And we went out to Ted, and, he read it. And he's also, really into independent theater. He started an independent theater company, and he just got what we were doing. So he came in and like brought all of this like experience and understanding like to that character. Plus, the scenes that you see Fast Eddie play in the film, there's just an effortless to his talent. So I think from the beginning, it was always that, he's this kind of false savior to the band, not to give anything away, but also the tragedy of him is that he truly is a gifted musician. He just doesn't have the sort of other skills that required for success, which is, on maybe a little bit on theme with some of the other characters in the film.
And I was going to say, in terms of Ted, one of the things that Ryan wanted through the film was that he be from the East Coast, from Newfoundland. And I always thought that was going to be the hardest sell, to find an actor that can pull off that accent in a genuine way, because the Newfie accent, I don't know if you know about it, it's kind of an Irish accent, but it's not an Irish accent. And Ted did an amazing job. That's part of the, his musicianship aside, the fact that he really has that feel for the Newfoundlander is great.
Yeah.
And bring this one to Dances with Films. It's their 25th year. It's in the TCL Chinese Theater. What does that mean for a film coming from Canada?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, I think it means everything. And I think I mean, look, I'm thrilled. I'm happy to be here. And I think the festival's been amazing. Like the sort of the warmth and the genuineness of the people that run this festival is quite remarkable. Just talking to the other filmmakers and everybody last night, it's no mystery why they've done 25 years and why this has sort of become the Filmmakers Festival. I think the part that's really, amazing for us is that the cast is here with us, and they've never actually seen the film. So they're getting ready for the premiere, which is tonight, where they're going to see this for the first time. But for this, this young cast who is working out of North Bay, with Derek, who this is really their first feature project, to go directly from North Bay to Hollywood and to get a premiere at like the TCL Chinese Theater, like that just doesn't normally happen, right? So it's kind of this own sort of remarkable success story for them. So it's been really fun watching them come down here, you know, and get on the carpets and talk to press, and just to sort of to go from like, you know, from where they were to where they are so quickly. It's a lot of fun.
And as a matter of fact, last night I was saying to one of the actors, do you think because I teach acting for the camera in this small college, I'm an actor, writer, producer, director, and I do stuff, but I do the side gig because I believe in giving back. But I said, you know, did you think that 3 years ago when we were doing this stuff that you would end up in Hollywood? And they were like, no, it's a dream. It is a dream come true for them. Who does that happen to? So
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, guys. This is an amazing film, and enjoy your red carpet this evening.
We
We will. Thank you.